As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What this law means is that you are a total sum of what you think. What you think is your reality. Your thoughts shape your reality. Are you feeling stuck? Like you have hit a wall and things just aren't going the way you thought they would? Maybe you're not just sure how to rise again. Maybe you are already on the journey trying to find your way forward. Whether it's your relationship, it's your finances, career, or even your spiritual life. At Apeiron, we navigate the journey with you. We explore different dimensions of wisdom to help you rise and grow. What if I told you that life does not work around or because of your emotions? What if I told you that life does not work by your sentiments? What if I told you that life rewards does not reward desire, but rewards design? What if I told you that there's a code by which life works, and this code has been designed by God for the universe to function on? Stick around. It's a very, very important video. So because of the lack of understanding of this code, many people are not able to actually get the results that they desire or results that they ought to have. Today, I'm going to be taking you through an understanding of how life works. And straight away, let me get into it. Life is not designed to function on your sentiments. Neither is it designed to function on your emotions. But life is designed to work by laws or principles. I'm pretty sure that at one point, maybe during a YouTube video or I don't know, whatever it is that you could have possibly tuned into, you must have stumbled around the word principle. So the ultimate question here is, what is a principle? So a principle is a foundational belief or law that governs systems, that governs actions, but also determines the results. That's a law. And the thing about laws is that they are universal. All principles, they are universal. They have been created, I believe, by God, so that people will systematically walk in this life, have the ability to produce results, but also to teach others how to do the very same things that they have been able to do. So I know you're asking yourself a question. What exactly is he talking about? Let's get to the example. Example number one, the law of gravity. So just to paraphrase, these laws, or this law states that anything that has weight, as long as it's thrown into space, it's going to be coming down. As long as something has space, the moment you throw it up, it's going to be coming down. So it's a force that will push anything down. Now, the interesting thing about this principle is that it does not care whether you know it, whether you are conscious about it, whether you are aware of it. No. I'm going to give you an example of a baby. Just draw a clear picture. When we have a guy who is standing on a 10-story building, and this guy is holding a baby and is dropping the baby down. Now, the idea here, or the thing is, we could have thought that, okay, this is a baby, and the laws know that this is a baby, so when the baby is dropped, the law of gravity will not affect the baby. But trust me, the baby will fall and die. That's how funny life has been designed. What I'm trying to say is that laws don't care whether you are young or old. Laws don't care. They work the same way for everyone, everywhere, and always. That's how laws work. Whether you're ignorant, they are in play. Whether you are knowledgeable, they are in play. That's how principles work. And it's funny that many people do not have an idea that this is the code by which life is designed to function. So God has put these principles in place that we are able to manifest or even bring forth or command results utilizing these principles and laws. And like we said, these are universal laws. What do I mean by these are universal laws? They work for the same for everybody. So it's not about being white or black, I'm African, I'm American, whatever it is that you might talk about, laws are universal. So that means whoever does the laws, whoever exercises himself to the laws, what will happen is he will benefit from the laws. And whoever does not or exercises himself to the laws in a negative way will reap, I won't call it curse, but will reap the doom that comes by that. What I mean by this is that if you align with the laws, you benefit. If you violate the laws, you will suffer. So when we look at the universe from a generic place, there is quite a number of laws. And this also includes the laws that govern your state. I mean, Texas has a couple of laws. Minnesota has a couple of laws. When you go to Africa, there are laws that govern countries, Kenya, Uganda. When you go to Canada, when you go to wherever, Asia, there are laws. But ideally, I'm going to be talking about the universal laws that govern the one. Examples of the most common laws that I believe that every human being should be acquainted with. Every human being should be knowledgeable of these particular laws. Number one, the law of sowing and harvesting. Or many people call this law the law of cause and effect. This law states that you harvest what you plant. I like the metaphor of farming. It's a very clear law that if you're gonna be planting, whatsoever you plant, let me say you are planting corn, you're gonna be harvesting corn. This law works in life. Law number two, the law of consistency. The law of consistency, I don't want to break it to the 1% rule, no, but let's call it the law of consistency. It simply states that small daily actions compound into great results. Small daily actions can compound into great results. It's a tremendous law. Now, let me also give you another law, the law of honor. There's quite a number of laws. It states that what you honor, you attract and sustain. That means anything you don't respect, anything you don't honor, you cannot attract, neither are you going to sustain. Now, lastly, and one of the most important laws, the law of the mind. And this law is given, we have a very clear picture from the Bible and many other wonderful geniuses that have helped us understand this law. It says that as a man thinketh, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What this law means is that you are a total sum of what you think. What you think is your reality. Your thoughts shape your reality. Powerful. Isn't that powerful? Now, I'm just imagining a kind of person who is not aware of these laws. So guys, it's not even a game. Now, let's look at the dangers of not knowing these laws. Dangers of not knowing these laws. If you have not really checked out my video or you have not watched the video that I made on ignorance, please find that video. It's a tremendous one because ignorance is costly. Like I gave you an example about the law of gravity And I told you that because a baby is unaware of the law of gravity, if this baby by any chance moves around or cripples, and the baby is walking and perhaps they get to the end of the building and they fall down, regardless of their ignorance, the baby will face the consequence, which is death. What I'm trying to say is that these laws, the ignorance of how the world or life works through these principles is extremely costly, and it will affect you. Trust me. So whether you know or not, you're going to end up in the same situation. Let me hope that's very clear. So people suffer in life not because it's unfair, no, but because many of them violate these laws unknowingly. Trust me. And you might have the right talent, you might have the right passion, you might have the right desire, you might have the right talent, but if you violate these laws, you're going to pay the price heavily. So the consequences are huge. So I'm going to give you a very simple example. You can't be full of purpose and still be stuck if you are not aligned with a certain principle. So there is no guarantee that because you have purpose, you're going to be successful. Nope. You can't be full of purpose and still be stuck. Why? Perhaps there's a lack of understanding of how laws work. Now, these are going to be my final reflections. It's important for you to know that your life, whether you are conscious or unconscious, there's a book that I read about. There's a book that I read some time ago. It was by Brian Tracy, and it was quite interesting because he is talking about the laws and is saying that whether someone is conscious or unconscious, that means there are people in life that are successful. They might not actually be conscious that they are practicing these laws, but it is because of those laws or through those principles we can begin to explain their success. Quite amazing. So if these laws are exercised, whether you knowingly or unknowingly, you're going to get the results. If these laws or principles are abused, whether knowingly or unknowingly, you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay the price. If you read great books, I told you, one of my favorite books, The $1 Million Mindset by Brian Tracy. He breaks down particular laws, but I was intrigued by coming to that place where he says a man might not actually be in the know of what he is doing that is responsible for the success that he's getting. And I'm saying this to say that perhaps there's something you just don't know about laws. Perhaps there's a principle that you do not understand. Perhaps you are praying and maybe you are fasting and applying prayer and fasting in a situation where you need money. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. There are very clear principles that have been laid down that if a man wants money, this is what you're supposed to have to attract the money that you want. So I'm saying this to say that this should give you hope that by you getting this enlightenment of the laws, I expect that it will touch your life and it's going to be better. I want you to reflect on the areas of pain or areas where you feel stuck. Could it be that there's a principle that you do not understand that has resulted into these negative results? I mean, I've had this, trust me, I've hit, I think I was very clear in my introduction. I told you guys, I've hit rock bottom. So everything that I talk about here, it's not just a game. For so many years, I'll give you an example. I never understood the law of money. Never. I was clueless. What I used to see is that money would come, money would go. Money would come, money would go. But the moment I aligned and realized identified an ignorance, I began to study about money. Studied about the psychology of money. What does this book say about money? What does the Bible say about money? What does you get? Now, I started having control over my finances simply because of an awareness that was aroused, number one, by identifying that I was clueless. Number two, starting to exercise myself to those particular laws. And then you gain control. So I'm simply saying, regardless, you have a chance, you still have an opportunity to make this right. Perhaps there's an area in your life where you're stuck. There's an area, maybe it could be your relationships, it could be your health, it could be your finances, it could be your whatever it is, your business, and you're stuck in a certain way. It's a very simple thing to identify which principle could I be abusing or violating in this situation. Then decide to learn and live by that truth that you have found. Not try and error. That's not how laws work. You're not going to be trying it. No. You're not going to be playing around. No. You learn and you adjust and you begin to live by this truth that you have actually found. So there is hope for you. That's what I'm trying to talk about. There is hope for you. So perhaps there is negative results that you intend to turn into positive results. It's a very simple equation. In life, there's a principle. If that principle is obeyed, we will have results. If that principle is violated, it's a very simple one. Like I told you, I gave you an example of the law of cause and effect. Let's make an assumption a season comes. And once that season comes, there's a farmer or there's different people. The season comes and it begins to rain. And there's one person who puts seeds in the ground. And the other person doesn't do anything. When the time for reaping comes, it's only the person who obeyed, who utilized, or who understood how that law worked that will have something to eat. You don't go to work, you ain't gonna eat. Simple as that. You don't go to work, you ain't gonna eat. I like how the Americans put it. They say, ain't no free lunch in America. That's a principle. That means as long as you're gonna be in that area, you're gonna be having to work for you to get something to eat. It's as simple as that. So once again, allow me appreciate you for being here up to this point. I'm very excited knowing that I'm able through wisdom, understanding, and enlightenment to ensure that your lives are changing as we are moving this year 2025. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. You help us spread this message even to the farthest places. Like the videos and let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.